What is it about a Nina Park makeup look that just makes it look that good? Some makeup looks can look incredible online, but don't necessarily translate into real life. In this video today, I'm going to show you my version of a Nina Park makeup look and talk to you a little bit about lighting and translating trends into real life. If you're new here, hi, my name is Miss Megan. I've been doing makeup for 15 years, 13 of them I worked at MAC. I know a lot about makeup needing to look good in a bunch of different lights, and also what it feels like to see something online and try and translate that through product, but then the product not translating to your face. So if you want to learn a little bit more about how I see a Nina Park makeup look, please keep on watching. I already have Fix Plus Magic Radiance and the Hyperreal Balm on my face. And then we're gonna do a little bit of Double Gleam, which is in the Light Struck liquid highlighter. Quick thing before we start, if you find following trends online really confusing and your stuff never looks the same in real life as you see online and you want it to make a little bit more sense, I have a free makeup community on Skool. You can hit the link in my description to join. There's a full makeup basis class so that you can understand how to make really great makeup work for you in your day-to-day life. It's about clarity and not trends. So link is below, but let me tell you what I think is one of the key things in a Nina Park makeup. So really fun story is my friend was at the Critics' Choice Awards with somebody who had their makeup done by Nina Park, and it was actually what I was talking about a week prior or the weekend before with my group sessions. And we were actually breaking down that makeup look. And one of the things that my friend Samora had said was that the skin was like unnaturally real. And she described the highlight as like a kid on Christmas. So just like MAC people can describe things very, very strange, but in like the best way. And I'm like, I get that. So that is that childlike glow. That adds an element to a makeup look. That's that vibe, that youthfulness, that glowiness. So I'm actually going to put this all on my cheek. And the other thing too was what she described about the highlight was like my overneath method, where things are both like under the skin, over top and underneath. I'm gonna use the full coverage palette today. And the reason I'm using that, and this is where the conversation between my group was like, how, if something looks like no makeup, does it mean that I have to have the most like tiny amount of like a skin tint, or can I work with fuller coverage creams? What if I have, you know, imperfections I need to cover? Like, how do I make a tint do that? And that was kind of like the back and forth conversation. But what I wanted to touch on, I was actually watching a Courtney Hart video, and she had put up the edited photo versus the Getty image photo, which is like the raw camera footage. And they look like two entirely different makeups. So it's not about makeup always being edited. It's just that when you have a professional photographer, professional videographer, and someone who knows how to light makeup really well, then you have the camera quality. Like all of that impacts how great a still image can look. And what I think is really cool is that there's so much info on the internet that you really could learn how to replicate that makeup you're seeing exactly from an image, but it can differ to how it reads in real life. I think the other part of the conversation too is what faces are they going on? And every single makeup artist will tell you, your foundation is only as good as your skin. The more perfect you can get your skin, whatever that version of it is, the easier it is to work with your complexion, and complexion makes a makeup look. So in some scenarios, like a camera can add in a really great way. Like a camera, there's a lot of different elements because a camera can really add to perfecting the makeup when it's lit properly. A camera can also take away like 20% of the makeup that you're putting on. So it's understanding all of those things too. And it's within how you even take a picture on your iPhone. Like take a picture of your face right now with back camera versus front camera. Even that is different. So you can imagine how makeup is gonna read differently too. It's the same reason, like I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you, where you're like, I swear to God, I have glitter on, but the glitter's not working. It's because you have to lower the lighting. So I'm going in with a little bit more double gleam. Even I can tell, like, so when I look at makeup content myself, I'm actually looking for how it's lit so that I can understand what the product might be doing. And ring lights give a certain appearance to the roundest parts on the face, which almost looks like this, where they're shot so intensely, but you can also see in somebody's eye, like what kind of lighting they have. So I'm adding my second layer of this. And my personal definition, like when I look at a Nina Park makeup, the way that I would describe it is every single, the main features, so like cheek, lip, eye, look like they were hit with a detail tool. They look crispy and saturated comparatively to the face overall, but without it being like a lot of makeup. So to me, that means you're defining the features really well. But the best feature on each person that needs to be defined could be different. So yes, there's like the basic trend that you're seeing, but it can be translated different person to person. I wanted to use one of the new Powder Kiss lipsticks on my cheek, and I literally don't know where they went. This is 08 in the Kiko blush. And I think the other thing too, when you're recreating trends online, is it's okay to have to readjust to make it work for you. So it's finding what again, I talk about this in one of my makeup courses about like, what is the vibe that you're seeing? Instead of, again, thinking from a product lens, do I have the best liner? Do I have the best blush? Do I have the best tint? What's the vibe? So the way that I personally will try to like catch a vibe is I would rather look at like 12 of a Nina Park image and scan them really quickly. What stood out to me? Whatever stood out to me is where I'm going to start to base the look around. And that's where I was like, oh, all those features look crispy. And trust me, it is nerve-wracking. Like sometimes I don't know how celebrity makeup artists do it, especially because there are a lot of cases where the person you're working on might want something very specific that makes them feel confident that you would never do or you don't recommend, but like you have to do it. And you're on time crunches and people are getting pulled away and you're like, please God, I need this to look good. I remember when I did, because the last like big thing I did was just in the summer, which was, I actually have my Spirit Box shirt on right now, was doing Courtney's makeup for her show here. And that was huge for me. I manifested that. But do you think when I went to watch the show after that I was able to focus? I was thinking like, Lord, please. I was like, her screens, the images they reflected back were like altered. So it wasn't like her specifically, or it could have been like her doubled and in black and white and like all these really cool things. But like whenever like the light got to her, I was like, I wanted to zoom with my eyeballs because I was like, please, please, please. And I was like, turning to my friends, I'm like, does her makeup look okay? Like, did I do a good job? They're just natural things that you think. I'm gonna leave that like that for now. And I'm actually gonna make this an easy peasy. And also some things too is like something could be trending and so popular and not your style, and that's okay. So if I was to do the eye on me, I'm actually gonna take grayish lip pencil just to define my eye area a bit. I did watch one makeup artist say that Nina Park does take, I don't know if it's this specifically or what she identified, but does do almost like a brow pencil kind of color right inside here, which adds this level. Again, it's that crispiness, it's that slight definition, even just between these two eyes. Like this has already done a lot to sort of just like pop the eye and bring it out from the face. And I think one of the biggest differences from, I feel like I need a coffee eye pencil. I'm just gonna use this Kiko dark brown liner in 12. One of the biggest differences from like internet glam comparatively to, I would say like a lot of makeup everywhere else, is the internet style makeup is very much for how it reads online, where a lot of real life makeup is getting you to enter the room first instead of your makeup entering the room first. And that can have its advantages, like a red lip, for example, but still there's a way to like pull it all together. I'm just bumping up some of the highlight. I'm gonna take a little bit of that House Labs color again and just like whisper it into the cheek. And that's like a me thing, right? So this is what happens a lot online. A trend or like thing will come out and every single model that the person works on, or celebrity, might have already really great cheekbones. So they only use blush. Then you come along and you have a round face like me and you don't have cheekbones really. So you have to sculpt them. And you might feel that you're not following the trend because, well, said makeup artist doesn't use that, so then I'm not doing it. But like realistically, you have to add your cheekbone back in so that you can get the same vibe or feeling. But again, if you don't know what your face needs, that's where these things become a struggle. Something else that I think that makes skin look really natural is faux freckles. I'm just using a eyebrow marker to go in and add a touch of freckles. And yes, there are product that has come out that's specific for this, but at the end of the day, it's just asking yourself, out of the product that you have, what can you use to get like the most natural looking freckles? Faux freckles are inconsistent in size, in texture, in color. That's why I like an eyebrow marker, because they're kind of watery. I'm gonna put a little bit, my lighter concealer just over top of my lid. And the other thing too that nobody talks about is like, where are you, like what lighting are you gonna be in? So whenever, you know, we were doing appointments or literally anything, I need to know where, like if you were getting your makeup done, I was doing your makeup, appointments are happening, whatever, where are you going to be in this makeup? Is this a candlelit dinner where the lighting is going to be really low? Are you going to be outside and it's going to be sunlight? Are you going to be in an office where it's like overhead terrible lighting? Like that all affects how your foundation reads. And I'm telling you, if you can look good inside of a makeup store, it's going to look good everywhere else. So if you told me you were at a candlelit dinner or something's gonna be dark, I would lower the lighting we were working in at the end. Obviously need the light to see, but at the end I would lower it because this is what it's gonna look like, right? Like for the thing that you want when you're sitting across from somebody. And also I'd be like, take a step back from the mirror. Is the person at dinner going to be that close to you? No, we're gonna be like this far apart. I'm taking a little bit of Studio Fix powder and I'm just gonna powder the front of the face and just under here. I'm gonna take Pat McGrath Baby Pink powder. I wanna zhuzh up the cheek just to fit. So I'm taking a little bit of this cream blush from MAC Pro and I'm just gonna do the front of the cheek. And let's get into the lip. So when I see a Nina Park lip, I automatically think of lip glazer because it's that blurred kind of lip. And I'm using, this is Whirlin. And I think too, like understanding, and I think for me as well, like I've always on my own makeup tried to perfect reading as accurate as possible on camera as I do in real life. Because I was like, I can never be seen in public not like looking different than online. I would rather, like absolutely not. And there's a handful of people I've met and they're like, you actually look better than you do, not in a bad way, but like you look even better in person than online. And I was like, oh, thank God. So when I look at my makeup, not this look in particular, because this is kind of light for me, I would say my makeup under this lighting to my naked eye, I'm like, ooh, this seems like a lot. But I know that by the time it settles and what I'll look like in outside and in like fluorescent lighting and things like that, I'll look normal. If I look bad in my bathroom light, then I know something's wrong. I've screwed something up. I'm gonna take a little bit of Grunge Nude from Melt and I'm just gonna keep building. For argument's sake, I'm just going to fill in with the same marker that I did the Faux freckles with. I'm gonna take a little bit of Humor Me from MAC and just amp up the cheek a little. I just wanna put it on my nose. I need a little, just like a smidge. I think I did a good job because this doesn't feel like me. So that's always a good sign. I'm gonna take a little bit more Studio Fix powder and then more freckles. And you know what it is too, I think about a Nina Park makeup look that makes it so pretty, is the tones that she picks are very perfect for the person. So it's not about, to me, having like the trending shade or whatever. It's like, that was the perfect shade to amplify their lip or their eye or their skin. This is just Endless Cacao in the waterproof formula. So really great makeup isn't necessarily just like copied entirely. You understand how to translate it from that image into something that works for you because you know what your face needs. If copying trends has been disappointing you and you've ended up a lot more frustrated than you want to be, and you want to be able to pull elements from different places and just feel confident putting it on your face, because a lot of trial and error after a while starts to make you feel kind of like defeated. That's exactly what I fixed inside the Makeup Revival. Inside, that is how people learn with me how to adjust makeup that they see online and make it work for their real life, not just a ring light or in one single setting. The link is down below, but if you want to keep chasing viral trends and ending up with a bunch of products, by all means keep doing that, or you can actually learn how to translate them properly with guidance and feedback. The next step is ready for you when you are. It's linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried a Nina Park makeup look, what your favorite element of it is. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a post. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram so you don't miss out on any Miss Megan news. Don't be late for school, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.